All right, let's dive into another deep dive. Today, we're tackling cryptocurrency,
Oh, exciting.
but specifically, we're looking at stablecoins.
Okay.
You know, those digital currencies that aim to, well, stay stable.
Right, right. Like a safe haven in the crazy world of crypto.
Exactly. So less of the roller coaster ride,
Yeah.
more like a nice, steady stroll through the park.
Haha, exactly.
So today, we're focusing on Tether,
Okay.
also known as USDT.
USDT, yeah.
It's one of the most popular stablecoins out there. So
Definitely a big one.
why don't we start with the basics?
Sure.
What exactly is Tether? What's the big idea behind it?
So imagine you want to get into crypto, right? But all the price swings, they're a bit much.
Yeah, a bit intimidating for sure.
That's where Tether comes in. It's designed to maintain a one-to-one peg with the US dollar.
Okay, so one Tether always equals one US dollar?
In theory, yeah.
Gotcha. So it's like a digital version of the dollar.
Basically, but with all the perks of cryptocurrency.
Okay, like faster transactions, lower fees, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And you don't have to worry about your savings suddenly losing half their value overnight.
That's definitely appealing. But I'm curious, how do they actually make this pegging thing work?
Well, that's where the concept of reserves comes in.
Reserves.
Yeah, to back up all the Tether out there are supposed to be reserves.
Okay, so like a vault full of assets.
Sort of, yeah. It can include traditional currency, cash equivalents, even other assets.
Ah, so it's like a bank holding deposits to cover withdrawals.
You got it. Each USDT is supposed to be backed by an equivalent amount in those reserves.
Interesting, but I've heard some whispers about Tether's transparency.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's been some skepticism.
You know, folks questioning whether they really have all the reserves they claim.
Right, some people are like, show me the money.
Yeah, makes sense. Like if a bank said they had enough cash but refused to open their books, you'd be a little suspicious, right?
Exactly. Transparency is super important in this world.
Totally agree. So let's assume for a moment that Tether does have all the reserves. What sets it apart from other stablecoins out there?
Well, Tether doesn't have its own blockchain, for starters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it operates as what they call a second layer token.
Second layer.
Mm-hmm.
So it piggybacks on existing blockchains.
Exactly. Like Ethereum, Strawn, Algorand.
So it's kind of like a chameleon adapting to different blockchain environments.
They like that analogy. Yeah, it gives Tether a lot of flexibility and accessibility.
It can move around the crypto world more easily.
Exactly. Kind of like using the same currency in different online games.
Makes sense. But I know Tether isn't the only stablecoin out there.
Oh, definitely not. You got USD coin or USDC,
USDC, yep.
DAI, Binance USD, or BUSD.
Okay, so how does Tether stack up against the competition? Is it the top dog?
Well, it definitely holds the largest market share.
Really?
It was one of the first stablecoins, so it's got a huge head start.
Ah, the first mover advantage.
Exactly. But other stablecoins like USDC and BUSD are catching up, especially with institutions.
Institutions, interesting.
Yeah, they tend to favor stablecoins that are a bit more transparent about their reserves.
Okay, so transparency is key, especially for the big players.
Definitely. It builds trust and legitimacy.
Makes sense. Now, let's talk about the technical side for a sec.
Sure.
Do these stablecoins all operate on the same blockchains?
Well, Tether and USDC, they're both pretty versatile. They've got what we call multi-chain support.
Multi-chain support, meaning?
They can move between different blockchains pretty seamlessly.
Ah, like having dual citizenship in the crypto world.
Haha, exactly. But BUSD mainly sticks to Ethereum and BNB Smart Chain.
Okay, so they have different home bases, but can sometimes venture out to other blockchain neighborhoods.
That's a good way to put it.
So for someone like me, an average user, which stablecoin would be the easiest to use, especially when it comes to cashing out?
That's a great question. I'd say USDC and BUSD tend to be a bit more user-friendly in that regard.
Oh, how so?
They have simpler redemption processes and lower minimums for withdrawals.
So they're better for smaller transactions.
Exactly. Tether can be a bit more, well, demanding.
Demanding in terms of...
Tighter minimums and fees, not ideal for casual users.
Okay, so it's like choosing between different payment apps. Some are great for splitting a bill with friends, while others are better for big purchases.
That's a perfect analogy. Each stablecoin has its strengths and weaknesses.
Got it. So it really comes down to your needs and priorities.
Exactly. Figuring out what works best for you in the crypto world.
All right, we've covered the basics of Tether and its competitors. Now let's get to the exciting part.
I'm ready.
What can you actually do with Tether in the crypto world?
Oh, there's a lot more to it than just parking your money in a stable place.
Okay, tell me more.
It's like a multi-tool, a Swiss Army knife for your crypto.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's more than just a stable store of value.
So what are some of the cool tricks this crypto Swiss Army knife can do?
Well, one major use case is hedging against volatility.
Okay, break that down for me.
Let's say you're holding Bitcoin, right? And the market takes a nosedive.
Oh, No, not a good feeling.
Instead of panicking and selling, you can quickly swap your Bitcoin for Tether.
Ah, so you're essentially locking in your gains, or at least limiting your losses.
Exactly, without having to completely cash out of the crypto game.
So it's like hitting the pause button on your crypto investments.
You got it. A great way to weather the storm, especially for newcomers who might be intimidated by the market's ups and downs.
That makes a lot of sense. What else can this crypto Swiss Army knives do?
Another big one is cross-border transfers.
International payments.
Exactly. Sending money overseas with Tether can be so much faster and cheaper than traditional methods.
Really? How so?
Think of it like sending an emails versus mailing a letter.
Oh, I see. You're cutting out the middleman and those hefty fees.
That's right. No more waiting ages for bank transfers or dealing with fluctuating exchange rates.
That's a game changer, especially for businesses dealing with global transactions.
Absolutely. And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
Tether plays a key role in what's known as decentralized finance, or DeFi.
DeFi, I've heard of it, but
Think of it like a parallel financial system built on blockchain technology.
okay, so like banking but without the banks.
Kind of, yeah. You can lend, borrow, earn interest, all without a traditional financial institution.
Wow, that sounds futuristic. But where does Tether fit into all this?
Well, it's widely used in DeFi platforms
How so?
for lending, borrowing, and something called yield farming.
Yield farming, I'm intrigued.
It's a way to earn rewards on your crypto holdings.
Oh, like a high-yield savings account, but in the DeFi world.
Exactly. And because Tether is pegged to the dollar, it offers some stability in this otherwise volatile landscape.
So you can participate in this new financial system without worrying about your savings evaporating overnight.
Exactly. It's a bridge between traditional finance and the exciting world of DeFi.
Tether's starting to sound like a must-have tool for anyone navigating the crypto landscape.
It's definitely gaining traction, but before we get too carried away, we need to address the elephant in the room.
Oh, what's that?
Regulation.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Every time I read about crypto, regulation is lurking in the shadows.
So true. So what kind of regulatory challenges is Tether facing?
One major development is happening in Europe. They've introduced something called MiCA.
MiCA.
Yeah, it stands for Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation.
Ah, okay.
Basically, it's a rule book for crypto companies operating in Europe.
So how does Tether fit into this new rule book? Is it playing by the rules?
Well, that's where things get a little murky. There's some uncertainty about whether Tether fully complies with all of MiCA's requirements.
Oh, I see. So it's a bit of a gray area.
Exactly. And this has made some big exchanges like Coinbase and Binance a bit hesitant
It's about.
listing USDT in Europe. They want to play it safe until things are clearer.
Makes sense. They don't want to get caught on the wrong side of the regulator.
Exactly. It's a waiting game for Tether in Europe right now.
Okay, what about in the U.S.? Any regulatory scrutiny there?
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. has been pushing for stricter rules, too, especially with initiatives like the Payment Stablecoin Act.
The Payment Stablecoin Act.
Yeah, it's all about making sure stablecoin issuers are playing by the rules.
So transparency, reserve backing, regular audits, that kind of thing.
Exactly. The U.S. wants to make sure stablecoins are living up to their name, actually stable.
Makes sense. They want to protect investors and ensure the stability of the financial system.
Definitely. It's a balancing act between fostering innovation and protecting consumers.
Right. So it sounds like regulation is a bit of a double-edged sword for Tether. It's necessary to build trust, but it also creates uncertainty.
That's a good way to put it. The regulatory landscape is still evolving, and it's definitely something to watch closely.
Well, that's all the time we have for part 1 of our deep dive on Tether.
Wow, time flies when you're talking crypto.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll explore the potential impact of these regulatory challenges, dive deeper into Tether's fascinating use cases, and uncover the risks and rewards of investing in this popular stablecoin.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Welcome back. Last time we were talking about those regulations.
Right, and how they might impact Tether.
Yeah, but Tether isn't just about, navigating the rule book.
Exactly.
It's also about, opening up those exciting new possibilities in crypto.
Absolutely. We briefly touched on some of those,
Like
using Tether for hedging,
Mm-hmm.
or those cross-border transfers.
Right. But it seems like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, it feels like there's a whole universe of Tether uses out there.
Oh, there definitely is. One area we should explore is how Tether is kind of changing the game when it comes to trading and
Trading?
yeah, and diversifying your crypto assets.
Okay, I'm all ears. Explain it to me like I'm, brand new to the whole crypto thing.
All right, so imagine you're at this giant global market, right?
Okay.
And everyone's trading, but they're all speaking different languages.
Oh, that sounds chaotic.
It would be Totally inefficient. Well, that's kind of what it was like in the early days of crypto, trying to trade one coin for another directly.
Oh, I could see how that would be a headache.
Yeah, so many different coins, each with its own value and volatility.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did they solve that problem? Well, Tether stepped in as a kind of common language.
Ah, a universal translator for the crypto world.
Exactly. It's used as the base for lots of core trading pairs on exchanges.
Trading pairs.
Yeah, meaning you can buy, sell, or hold all these different cryptos without constantly having to convert back to traditional currencies.
Ah, so Tether simplifies the whole trading process.
Exactly. Faster, more efficient, and way less confusing.
It's like having a universal adapter for your crypto wallet.
I like that. And it goes beyond just trading, too. Businesses are catching on to the benefits of using USDT for their everyday payments.
Really? For like paying their suppliers or employees.
Well, think more about international transactions.
Okay, yeah.
Those can be super slow and expensive.
Oh, tell me about it. The fees, the delays, it's a nightmare.
Right. But with Tether, businesses can bypass all that, make payments quickly, efficiently. No need to worry about those pesky exchange rates.
Right. It's like having a stable global currency that's always available.
That's the idea.
So it's kind of creating this like parallel financial system, one that runs alongside traditional banking.
In a way, yeah. It's faster, often more transparent, less reliance on those intermediaries.
Wow, fascinating.
Of course, it's still early days.
Sure.
There are challenges to overcome,
Right.
but the potential is definitely there.
Absolutely. Okay, so say I'm intrigued
Yeah.
and I want to dip my toes into the Tether pool. What's the safest, smartest way to go about it?
Great question. Safety first, always. The first step is by buying Tether. You can do that through a cryptocurrency exchange.
Ah, the cryptocurrency exchange, the
Right.
gateway to the crypto universe.
Exactly. There are tons of them out there.
Any tips for choosing the right one?
Definitely. Look for exchanges that are, reputable,
Mm-hmm.
secure, with a good track record.
Okay, so do your research, read reviews.
Yeah, there are some well-known ones like
Binance, yep.
Coinbase, Kraken.
Okay,
Choose one that, feels right for you.
got it. So once I've bought some Tether, where do I keep it safe?
Ah, that's where wallets come in.
Wallet, like my physical wallet.
Not quite. Think of them like your personal bank account, but for crypto.
Okay.
Most exchanges offer those built-in wallets.
Yeah.
But for better security, it's best to move your Tether to a personal wallet.
Okay, so I have more control over my Tether.
Exactly. But there are different types of wallets.
Oh, great. More choices to make?
Haha, yeah, there are two main types, hot wallets and cold wallets.
Hot wallets, cold wallets.
Hot wallets are connected to the internet, which makes them convenient for transactions.
So they're like your everyday checking account. Easy to use, but maybe not the safest for big savings.
You got it. Now, cold wallets are offline.
Offline?
Yeah, like a super secure vault.
So that's where I'd store my long-term crypto savings.
Exactly. Popular choices include hardware wallets like Ledger and Trezor.
Trezor, okay.
Yeah, they're physical devices.
So they keep your crypto offline.
Exactly. Much harder for hackers to access.
Sounds pretty secure, so it's a good idea to have both, right?
Yeah, a hot wallet for spending and a cold wallet for saving.
Like a two-wallet system for all my crypto needs.
Exactly. Just remember, no matter what kind of wallet you choose, those private keys are crucial.
Oh, right. Those are like the passwords to my crypto, right?
More like the master key to your vault. Guard them with your life.
Okay, point taken. And I should enable two-factor authentication, right?
Absolutely. Always a good idea for that extra layer of security.
Like having a security guard at the door of my crypto vault.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry, right?
Totally. So it seems like there's a lot to learn when it comes to Tether and crypto wallets.
There is. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
But hey, that's part of the fun.
It's true.
It's constantly evolving. So yeah, stay informed, do your research, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Great advice. Okay, we've talked about buying Tether, storing it safely,
Mm-hmm.
and all the amazing things it can do.
Right. But it wouldn't be a proper deep dive without acknowledging those risks.
True. True. Every investment comes with risks.
Exactly. And Tether's no exception.
All right, let's talk about the potential downsides. What should people be aware of?
Well, one of the big ones is still those reserves.
Oh, right, the whole transparency issue.
Yeah, there's still some uncertainty about what exactly makes up those reserves and whether they're actually enough.
Yeah, that whole vault of gold analogy still makes me a bit nervous.
I get it. It's a valid concern.
Okay, what else?
Well, there's always the risk of, regulatory changes.
Oh, right, those lurking shadows.
Governments could step in, introduce new rules, and that can create a lot of instability.
So the regulatory landscape is still a bit of a Wild West.
Exactly. And then there's always the risk of, hacking.
Oh, right, cyber attacks and
Yeah, Tether itself has a pretty good track record, but the platforms you use, to buy, sell, store your tether,
Right.
they could be vulnerable.
Okay, starting to see the potential pitfalls here. So how can people protect themselves?
Well, first and foremost, choose those reputable platforms and exchanges.
Right, the ones with strong security measures.
Yeah, do your homework.
Okay, homework is done.
But also remember, you play a big role in your own security.
Oh, right, so it's not just about the platform.
Exactly. Never share those private keys.
Got it. My lips are sealed.
Double check those wallet addresses before sending anything.
Okay, will do.
And watch out for those phishing scams.
Right, those sneaky emails and messages.
Yeah, everywhere these days. So be cautious, choose wisely, and don't let your guard down.
Got it. Be vigilant.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other risks worth mentioning?
Well, it's important to remember that Tether, despite its name, isn't actually a US dollar.
Oh, right. It's pegged to the dollar.
Exactly. It's a digital token that aims to maintain that peg.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no guarantee that it will always hold.
Ah, so the peg could break.
Theoretically, yeah.
And Tether could lose its value?
It's a risk to consider. Tether has been relatively stable.
Right.
But, it's still a new technology in a very volatile market.
Proceed with caution, do your research, understand the risks.
That's the golden rule of crypto, for sure.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We have.
The basics of Tether, how to get started, the amazing things it can do.
Yep.
And the potential risks.
Right. But before we move on, I have a question.
Okay, shoot.
If Tether is facing these challenges, right? Transparency concerns, regulatory hurdles, those inherent risks, why is it still so popular? Why are people still, flocking to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I bet our listeners are wondering the same thing.
Well, I think there are a few reasons.
Okay.
First, even with all the controversy, Tether was one of the first stablecoins.
That first mover advantage again.
Exactly. It's got a long track record, tons of people use it, and it's accepted on most major exchanges.
So people are familiar with it, they trust it, even if there are some questions.
Right. And let's not forget about its, utility.
Yeah, it's not just hype, it actually does stuff.
Exactly. We talked about hedging, cross-border transfer.
Right, trading, DeFi.
It solves real-world problems in the crypto space.
It's about functionality.
Yeah, filling a need. And finally, I think people are drawn to that idea of a stable digital asset, something that connects traditional finance with cryptocurrency.
Like having the best of both worlds.
Exactly. You can experience the, benefits of blockchain while maintaining that stability of the US dollar.
So the future of Tether may be uncertain, but its popularity definitely shows there's a real demand for these stablecoins.
Absolutely. And in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to explore what might lie ahead for Tether, examining its potential long-term impact on, this crazy world of finance.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Tether. We've explored what Tether is, how to get started with it.
The cool things it can do, those risks to watch out for.
Right. It's been quite a journey, but now I think it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture.
The long view, yeah.
Exactly. What are the potential long-term implications of all this? Tether and this whole stablecoin revolution.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? On the one hand, stablecoins like Tether could make finance more accessible for, well, pretty much everyone.
More accessible. How so?
Think about it. Sending money across borders instantly with minimal fees.
Okay, yeah.
Or accessing financial services without needing a traditional bank account.
That's huge, especially for folks in underserved communities or places where traditional banking is, limited.
Exactly. And it's not just about access. Stablecoins could also fuel innovation in finance.
Innovation. Like what?
New products, new services. We're already seeing this in the DeFi space, right? Decentralized finance.
Right. So stablecoins could be a catalyst for a positive change.
Absolutely. But of course, like with any disruption, there are always those potential downsides.
Oh, right. There's always another side to the coin.
Exactly. One concern is that widespread adoption of stablecoins, especially those issued by, centralized entities like Tether, it could actually undermine that whole idea of decentralization.
The core principle of crypto, right?
Exactly. It's a bit ironic, right?
Yeah.
Stablecoins are meant to bring stability to this decentralized world.
Right.
But they could end up introducing some of the same centralization problems that blockchain was designed to solve.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Kind of. It's a balancing act, for sure.
Okay, so centralization is one concern. What else?
Well, there's still that big cloud of regulatory uncertainty.
Oh, right, those lurking shadows again.
Governments are still trying to figure out how to deal with stablecoins.
Makes sense. It's all pretty new.
And this uncertainty can, create instability and stifle innovation.
It's like trying to build a house on shifting sand.
Exactly. And then there's the whole question of, financial stability in general.
Okay, how so?
Some economists worry that the rapid growth of stablecoins, if not managed properly, could pose risks to the traditional financial system.
Risks like,
Well, imagine a sudden loss of confidence in a major stablecoin.
oh, like a bank run, but for crypto.
Yeah, something like that. It could have ripple effects throughout the whole system.
So while stablecoin have tons of potential benefits, there are also valid concerns about their potential impact, both on financial stability and, that core principle of decentralization.
It's a complex issue, that's for sure. No easy answers.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what are the key takeaways? What should our listeners remember?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the world of finance is changing fast.
Faster than ever before.
And stablecoins like Tether, they're right at the forefront of this change.
They offer incredible opportunities.
But yeah, they come with risks and challenges.
It's a super exciting time to be following all this. Stablecoins are definitely one of the most interesting developments in the crypto world.
Definitely keeps things interesting. And as with any new technology, it's vital to stay informed.
Research, ask questions.
Exactly. Approach it all with a healthy dose of curiosity and caution.
Great advice. So to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay, I like those.
Do you think stablecoins, like Tether, are ultimately a force for good? Or could they pose a threat to the future of finance?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think only time will tell, really.
Yeah, it's all still unfolding.
But by talking about these issues, considering both sides,
The potential benefits and those risks.
and staying informed, we can all contribute to shaping that future of finance, right?
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of Tether. We hope you learned a thing or two.
And maybe even spark some of your own curiosity about the future of finance.
Exactly. The world of crypto is constantly evolving, so keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, stay curious.